5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Got a good book I want to let you know about, and we don't have much time to talk about it, which is the only hard part about this. Robert Whitlow is on the phone. He is an attorney. He's the pioneer of the Southern legal thriller novel, that's kind of a cool thing to be able to say. He is the recipient of the Christie Award for Excellence in Christian Fiction. So now you know kind of another aspect of this man we're going to meet. 3 of his novels have been made into movies, and I'm curious, as just personal thing, I wonder how he liked that. And some authors like that and some don't, and I guess it depends on the movie maker. His new book is called The Confession, a legal thriller novel. Good morning, Robert Whitlow. Good morning, Robert.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, you're welcome. Where are you? Are you in North Carolina?
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina this morning, Larry.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for being on the air with us. Are you still a practicing attorney?
I am, but I got to stay home from work today so I could talk to you.
It is interesting in the book because we didn't get through the whole thing. I don't know when it arrived, but I started looking at it not just a couple days ago, so I'm not really that familiar with the whole story. But it sounds like we're not talking about necessarily confessions of the bad guys.
Right. It's that's a bigger net than just the folks that are sitting over there in the Ocala jail. Okay.
Yeah.
And the novel's about a young prosecutor with a past that he's going to have to deal with while he's investigating a cold case involving the murder of a prominent citizen in their local community.
Wow. So does it make it easier as an attorney when somebody does confess, or do you still have questions?
Well, where the whole concept for this came up was early in my career in a small Georgia town. I was on the appointed list to represent indigent defendants, and I was amazed how many times when I would go down to the jail, my new client had already confessed to their crime. And, nobody made them confess. They just did. and I was like, if you kept your mouth shut, maybe I could have done something here to help you out. But you've already admitted what you did. Now, you may have tried to blame somebody else. You may have done what I called guilty with an explanation.
Yeah.
But most of those don't work very well in front of the judge. So it was an interesting phenomenon that I observed. And, when I was thinking about the concept for this novel, I said, you know what, I'm going to include that, but I'm going to expand it so that it, is beyond just the folks we normally think of in that context, and give a little bit of an ironic twist to the concept of a confession.
Yeah, and you've done a good job at that. And so I'm trying to figure out where you have the time. I mean, how do you how'd you figure out the time, the management of your time to be able to do this and your work as an attorney?
I'm just incredibly organized.
Since you
the truth of the matter is.
Oh, go ahead.
Rob.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I work. I work during the day as a lawyer, and I'm a writer at night. And I found early on as a novelist that I couldn't really sit down and grind it out for 8 or 10 hours a day. That's just not the way I'm wired. So, if I can get a couple hours in the evening and maybe a little bit on Saturday, it takes me about a year. I'm about a book a year, so I'm able to work it in as long as I, stay diligent and don't goof off too much.
Since the main character reopens a cold case, do the real-life attorneys choose the cold cases to reopen, or are they assigned?
Well, this would, the main character is a prosecutor, so, and really what happens in the story is he's kind of doing this on the side, because the man that died was a prominent citizen, but it turns out there's some people in the community that want this guy just left dead and ignored. So he's really doing this off the books, which, I think hopefully adds another layer of intrigue to the story to help pull you along. So, but prosecutors do have some discretion, Robin, in what they do, and but in this particular story, I guess you could say he's kind of going rogue a little bit.
It's a great story.
Do you know, as a Christian author, I wanted to mention something, because, and maybe it doesn't just apply to Christianity, but we have this understanding. Well, any of us who've lived life, I saw an interview. I think it was with Mickey. Oh gosh, what was the guy's name with? Oh gosh, I can't remember his name. Mickey Rooney. Mm-hmm. I saw this interview with Mickey Rooney, and he was saying he was no regrets. Whatever he did, I think, how can you be almost at the end of your life and say you have no regrets?
Yeah.
There's got to be something that you've been carrying with you all of your life that you wished you hadn't done, and I think you've explored that part of humanity, the human experience in the book. It's true for everybody. None of us are saints.
Yeah. I mean, if you're anybody in AA knows. That's integral to the 12 steps is, doing this fearless inventory and honest inventory and then making amends for the things that you've done wrong. I mean, it's in there because, and that's what I noticed with these folks I was representing was, it was like they just were wired to, admit, to spill their guts, to confess. And I was amazed at the phenomenon.
Oh, wow.
And so that just kind of went back in my information bank, and I knew at some point I'd want to drag that out and explore that, that whole idea in a broader context and in a book at some point.
But as an attorney, if somebody says to you, "Look, I really did it, but I don't want anybody to know I really did it," now your job, because you are representing them, your job is to try to do the best you can for them. But your client is saying, "Don't let the court know that I just confessed to you." That's got to be a tough thing if that scenario has ever happened.
It is, and that is probably one of the most misunderstood dynamics of the American legal system in this country, period. And TV and movies have done a horrible job of portraying the reality of that. And what happens in that situation, Larry, is if I know that my client is guilty of the offense, I cannot ethically put them on the witness stand and let them lie. Okay, I can do everything I can to make the state prove their case, which is part of what's necessary to protect the constitutional rights of every single one of us. Mm-hmm. You, me, Robin, and everybody that's listening. But, lawyers have ethical guidelines that we have to follow, and we have to take courses every year, that put that stuff up in front of our noses and, to keep us, hopefully between the ditches. So, yeah, that's a challenging situation, but, there are clear guidelines in how to handle it.
And our challenge is to be fair to the book in just a short period of time. We got just a little over a minute left. The one question about the movies, you mentioned that movies and TV are not usually accurate with the legal system. Would a movie of this book change that? Well,
it would sure hopefully come down on the right side of it. And I've already got Joseph Gordon-Levitt starring in the film. So if you
wow.
said you had contact with Mickey Rooney, or at least had read an interview about him, that counts for me. If you can get in touch with Joshua Gordon-Levitt and just give him my contact information, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, you never know. You never know. Yeah. We get some interesting guests. Well, thank you for being one of our guests. I have a copy of the book. I'd like to give it away. Call me if you want it. It's called The Confession. We've hardly touched on it. I would encourage you to look it up. It's a really wonderful book. Robert Whitlow spells his name Whitlow. The rest of us have to go buy it. Do you have a website?
Yeah, we do, and that'd be a great place for folks to go, robertwhitlow.com, and the book's available nationwide, all the bookstores, all the online retailers, and it's in all the ebook formats as well.
Oh, okay, all right. And let's see, you have two other books, is that right?
No, this is my 14th novel, Larry.
14th?
Yeah. 3 films.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, 3 films. Okay, that's
three.
What...
Three have been made into films.
Okay, wow. Well, good for you.
That's good. That's your homework, Larry, is to read about 14 books, so then we'll get that.
Well, I'm sure I'll do that before Tuesday. So, today is Tuesday. Robert, thank you for being on the air with us today. That was a fun interview.
All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
We'll be
brother.
right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Some sunshine today, but there'll be a couple of showers and a heavier thunderstorm or two around, most widespread during the afternoon and evening hours. The high today 88 to 92. Then partly cloudy later tonight, though 72 to 76. Partly sunny tomorrow with a couple of thunderstorms around during the afternoon and evening hours, high 91 to 95. Thursday, partly sunny with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm likely in the afternoon, high 91 to 95. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Joe Lundberg.
Who would you feed if you had 50 chicken sandwiches from Chick-fil-A? WOCA and Chick-fil-A in the Paddock Mall have teamed up to reward one organization with 50 chicken sandwiches as a way of saying thanks for the great work that organization is doing in our community. And we need your help. See, there are so many great people doing great things that we need nominations. You can nominate your own organization or any organization you choose. Simply send an email to WOCA@WOCA.com. And in 350 words or less, tell us why the organization you are nominating should receive 50 free chicken sandwiches from WOCA and Chick-fil-A at the Paddock Mall. We'll review your nominations and then select one deserving organization each month. We'll announce the winner and even read the winning entry on the air. Make sure to include the contact name and phone number of the organization that you are nominating. And thanks from your friends at WOCA and Chick-fil-A in the Paddock Mall. Veterans are the foundation upon which our freedom is built. Listen to The Source, WOCA.